Hey everyone! Last time I built up all my folks about as much as I can, and we learned a whole lot about Cuchulainn and the War of the Bulls. So let's go ahead and cross No Man's Land and take on the Dreadnought. Of course, No Man's Land is pretty much the same challenges we've been facing the whole time we've been in Warcadia, just generally with a lot more folks at once. This is the first time we're going to be fighting the soldier types alongside Gaboy. But frankly, nothing's really changed about either. The only real difference now is I've got Gargantua, which means that I can quite safely attack Gaboy from a distance. It just takes me a while to get the hang of what that distance is. Especially when it keeps advancing on me. No, see, just stay where you are, and wait for the cannonball to land on your head. It's too hard to aim, so I gotta go with the old melee. I guess I could try laying mines with ambush, but the chances that Gaboy is actually going to run over them are pretty slim. It mostly likes to stand still and just use that big electric attack. Green crystals. I've been using Quasarelli a ton lately. Let's go back to the old standard. I love it. Not really a whole lot to say at the moment, I think. It's all the same folks I've been fighting for an entire chapter. And another green dust. I think I only need 10 more. Now this is a collection of folks I can respect. I think I'll respect them from a distance. I'd say a safe distance, but I'm not sure that in this particular room there is such a distance. And sometimes it's hard to target the folk you want out of a big group. So I end up firing Gargantua over the heads of all the hawks. Kind of a shame. But as long as I concentrate on the right types of folks, take out the soldier ones first, because they're easier to target, and you can hit them with just about anything. Gaboy is only vulnerable to destroy. And I have no idea why it took my old Gargantua so long to disappear. Oh well, we won't have to fight any more of these guys for a good while. Depending on whether we come back and do Keith's side of this chapter, or continue with Ellen into Chapter 3. Alright, with nothing but Gaboy, none of the attacks that I have except Destroy Element are going to do me any good, so I'll just set up 2 different Destroy Element attacks. It's one of the nice things about the way the palette works. You could set 4 Destroy Element attacks if you really want to, and have a nice variety of effective attacks available at any time. Or you can keep something in your standby slot, just never knowing what's going to be useful when. And regrettably, I'm just out of range of capturing the other one. Would have been nice to get the extra 20% experience. And there's my reward, a green quartz. The picture book page was right here the whole time. And on the other side, an even better reward, full health, so I can take on Dreadnought at full power. So let's see how we're going to go about this fight. See, a Gaboy attack at first, and then pummeling it with Gargantua, Gaboy again, and then Degasser at the very end, right into its mouth. I'm not going to remember any of that.
What's that?
That's an image of death, conjured by the humans.
This can't go on. We must protect the Netherworld.
Go on. Go back to the land of the living. But do think about us once in a while.
And may I just say that Dreadnought looks ridiculous. I mean, yeah, it's a legitimate threat with that big cannon under it, and the fact that it's completely covered in shielding that protects it from all my attacks. But it looks like a giant dog. Alright, let's take another look now that we know what this thing looks like. Gaboy attack does something that's dripping, apparently. Oh, there it is, the fuel tank. And I missed it. And it puts the shield back up, but it comes down right after a jump as it starts leaking fuel everywhere. And if you can actually target your attacks properly, sending sparks through the fuel is apparently how we're going to burn up the tank. Switching to Kilmoulis was a mistake. Patriot is the way you want to go for this fight. But it's kind of hard to keep my targeting on because you can't target the part of Dreadnought you want to hit. So you have to be facing it when it's shooting at you in order for your shield to be effective. Otherwise, I'll just take the hits and be grateful for the battlefield cloak protecting me from the attacks. And now we've managed to blow up the fuel tank. Fuel spills everywhere, and it's no longer shielded. So the picture book said to go with Gargantua next. Frankly, I find that bad advice. I mean, yes, it does damage, but Barghest gives you more attacks. And what I really need to do is just wreck the armor of these legs. Give myself another target to hit. So there we go. The electricity is exposed. And now I can go after it with Gaboy. And suddenly my character stops responding and I have no idea why. Turns out you can get electrocuted from those legs. And when it lands on an unarmored leg, it collapses. This attack is doing nothing. So, once my electrocution wears off and I take a missile to the face, and a lot of fire because, hey, I'm using a shield that only protects from one attack, I can shock its leg. It doesn't really seem to do a whole lot. It's going to continue breathing fire, keep shooting missiles. But if I do enough damage to the leg, it falls over and then starts breathing fire. I'm not going to be able to get close enough to hit it in the face. And at this point, I'm pretty much just trying to make some observations for the next time after I die. But then I get a brilliant idea. Let's destroy the armor on the rest of the legs. Again, using Barghest. Degasser is a good choice too. I wouldn't even attempt it with ambush. Gargantua keeps you at a safe distance, but I can't really see that being all that important in this fight. Much more important is being able to attack rapid fire. And Barghest gives you the closest to that you're going to get. So with all 4 of its legs emitting sparks, now I can come in, shock it a couple times, and when it collapses, I get plenty of time to hit it in the mouth. The picture book said to use Destroy Element. That might be more effective, but frankly I think the shock value from using Gaboy is much more valuable. One more iteration of that power and we ought to be done. Of course, I don't want to let it jump. Jumping would be bad. That'll do it. I guess I could let it jump on me if I used Cumulus. But we see it's redded, and now with my controller unplugged, it's the timing pattern. Wait for it to turn red, yank up on the controller, and then it changes to beat. And if it takes me too long to capture, it'll just keep switching back and forth until I finally got the job done, or I let go. I don't plan to give it the chance. Oh yeah, there were fairies there. And Ellen apparently faints in the middle of a battlefield from the shock of seeing some fairies disappear. Nice survival instinct. So now we'll get Ryan's story. But first I want to see what Bogle has to say about that performance. That must have been the same girl who was at the cliff when Ronaldo fell off. Which reminds me, I haven't been back to talk to the Fairy Lord in a while. I should probably do that at some point, but I don't think I will in this video. For now, we've got to go back and talk to Harriet. And as usual, we'll start by talking to everyone else in town and see what their take on events is. The church that once was a clinic. And also, presumably, a church. Kinda wonder if Keats is at home. I mean, now that we know he's also going to the Netherworld, we've probably got a lot to talk about. But he's not in. I don't think the two characters will be interacting much outside of cutscenes until pretty close to the end of the game. Guess we might as well start by talking to Mrs. Lester. I mean, considering that we know her husband is wrapped up in all these events. Yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what we know just yet. Yeah, that jerk, disappearing in a flood of memories without actually showing us what the memory was. Yeah, I really don't know what is going on with Charlotte. She's obviously interacting with the world on a level that we can't understand. Even given our position in the supernatural events that are taking place. Yeah, that's my thought too about the whole belief in life after death and modern culture. But then in this game, we know it's happening. We just can't get him to believe us. You know what? I wholeheartedly agree. Let's go find out what it is. Yes! As we already expect, she talks to the dead. Alright, fine. Looks like once again we're off on our own. So in the end, both Ryan and Harriet have told Ellen to go talk to Dr. Lester to find out what happened in the church 17 years ago, which apparently got Ryan killed and made a very incriminating photograph that looks pretty innocent on the surface. But are we going to follow that lead now, or should we go back and see what Keats, Levante, and Belgai got up to in Warcadia during Chapter 2? Think this is too big a decision for me to make on my own? Cast your votes in the thread, and we'll find out the results next time.